Hi, I'm Tim, welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we're discussing the exquisite A Lange Sohne 1815 40, so named because it's 40 millimeters. Yellow gold, technically this is reference 233021, 40 millimeters in diameter. On my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, you can see it is a broad saucer-like watch. A timepiece with outsized personality, though it is not large absolutely. It does have a substantial round case, but a cropped lug span of 47.5 millimeters, so Lange put all of the size into the round case, leaving the watch wearable on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. It's only 9.2 millimeters thick, so this is a watch you can wear underneath any kind of a dress cuff. The spacing between the lugs is a nice universal 20 millimeters, so I always like to say when you've got a 20 millimeter lug spacing, you'll have many aftermarket options. The Lange factory piece is a dark brown, large rectangular scale alligator leather strap with a folded edge and a monotone stitch. You can see there's calf skin on the underside. It's a new Lange factory strap, and then it features Lange's distinctive and thoughtfully designed pin buckle. You can see it's nicely made with polish and faceting, a bold Lange marquee on the top. And then you go underneath and you realize that the stanchions drop below the bridge so that when it sits on your wrist, the strap sits inside the buckle rather than stacking up underneath it. You also note there's a retaining bar, so if you're like me and you tend to buckle a watch to the smallest hole, you have a smaller wrist, oftentimes it can be very difficult to extricate that strap because it gets quite literally pinned on the pin. Well, with that retaining bar, even if you strap it down tight for a small wrist, it's not going to cling to your wrist like grim death. It'll be easily removable. Smart design, and it continues in the case. Effective use of contrast, making the watch look thinner than it is. You can see the case band is of satin finish, and then there's a contrast with the vertical portion of the bezel, which is in high polish, and the case back. You'll note that the bezel has both a vertical portion and a curved top, and then the lugs are stepped out separately to give them a little bit more individual expression as well as character, personality, and sculptural form rather than a Patek Philippe-like blended Calatrava lug. Domed style bezel, you can see the dial. Characteristic of the 1815s, it features Arabic numerals with the one down at 6 o'clock cropped by the small seconds. Two small circles inboard and overlapping. You have a lowered center dial that's slightly deeper, and then you have that crosshair style small seconds. There is a stop seconds function, and outboard you can see that there is a railroad track. You'll also note that there's a sort of clover flourish at each of the four corners. So there's a separate index outboard of 12, 3, 6, and 9. The dial features alpha style hands in blue, high contrast, easy to read, and I should mention the dial, which is silvered by galvanizing, actually has a solid sterling silver base. So just like the case, the dial is made of precious metal. Turn it all over, and here's where Lange watches get fun. I mean, they're fun when they're on the wrist, the dials are always attractive, and the functions are a pleasure to use. But this is a movement for the ages, as are most Lange calibers. Manual wind, this is caliber L0511. 55-hour power reserve, it beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour. You saw the stop seconds function a minute ago. I don't quite have the nails I used to, but you can see the stop seconds function in action. It is a 5-position adjusted movement, just like a chronometer adjusted in 5 positions. It has stop seconds, 23 joules, all this water resistant down to 30 meters, but you're not going to go swimming with this watch. The characteristic features of Lange movement design. First, the 3/4 style plate, like an old Saxon pocket watch. They want you to remember that A Lange Sohne originally was a pioneer of German watchmaking in the pocket watch era. You'll also note that there is a set of stripes, Glashütte stripes, because we're not in Switzerland, they're not Côte de Genève. You can see that the pivot jewels are set in chaton, which are then fixed in place by blued screws. This is old school. Back before precision machining in the 19th century, you would actually put the jewel in a precise chaton fixing, and then you would screw that into a drilling in the plate using screws. You also have black polish on the top of the swan's neck fine adjustment mechanism, as well as the cap for the escape wheel, which you can see features poly noir, or the highest standard of optical finish. A freehand engraved half-bridge for the balance. No two are exactly alike. That's done with a hammer and a chisel. So again, freehand engraved. It's basically a piece unique component. There's engine turning on the base plate, so you can see that perlage, and it's hard to capture, but there is a mirrored chamfer on the edge of the half bridge as well as the 3/4 style bridge. So all of the standards of German watch finish, mostly pioneered by Lange in the modern era. Let's face it, almost everyone else is following their lead in terms of what's now called German watch finish. The final touch, A nickel copper zinc alloy known as German silver. It is not made of silver, but the nickel copper zinc alloy is golden because of the copper content, and it is also highly resistant to oxidation, so it doesn't need to be rhodium plated like Swiss brass movements. A beautiful caliber, a handsome watch. And if you're part of the no-date luxury watch movement, this watch is dateless. A handsome, one might even say unadulterated, example of watchmaking in its most elemental form. See it and make it yours on the Watchbox.